What percentage of your agents would you say, what's your best estimate, what percentage have been called to do immigration enforcement? What percentage of the 200 have at some point in the last 150 days been called away to work on an immigration enforcement action?
So the reason I'm having a hard time answering the question is because we work immigration enforcement as it relates to narcotics enforcement. So the two are intimately combined, and that's what our agents are doing.
Okay.
For instance,
you know what I'm asking you. With all due respect, you know what I'm asking you. So, what percentage of your agents have been called away to work on immigration rates that is a departure from what you were doing before 150 days ago?
Sir, my people do not do strictly immigration rates.
What percentage of your agents have worked on immigration enforcement in the last 150 days? Can you give me an estimate?
Again, it's not just immigration enforcement, sir. So
okay. You clearly don't want to answer the question, Mr. Allen.
Adam Schiff walked into that hearing thinking he had it all locked down. Stats in hand, questions locked and loaded, ready to corner law enforcement leaders on immigration enforcement. What he didn't see coming, getting publicly exposed, repeatedly on live TV. This wasn't just another hearing. This was the moment Schiff asked the wrong damn question to the wrong people and got an answer he couldn't handle. Stick around, because what happened next left the entire room stunned.
To the degree that your resources are diverted to immigration operations against nonviolent immigrants, against farm workers or garment workers or restaurant workers, I am worried about diverting the focus away from interdicting fentanyl and going after these cartels. So let me ask you, how many field agents do you have in LA?
So approximately 200.
And of the 200 field agents in LA, how many of them have, in the last 150 days, worked on immigration enforcement?
That's a tough question to answer, sir, just because it's such an ebb and flow. It's not like we have people permanently assigned to just work immigration enforcement. Because, as I said before, we're really primarily focused on continuing our work in drug enforcement, and the crossovers that fall into place with illegal immigration. I mean, that's where we
give us your best ballpark. Have a third of them been assigned at least temporarily, or half of them, or more? Is everyone participating to some degree?
I would say at any one time, that's a decent estimate. But as again,
sorry, which estimate? About 30%?
At any one time, not necessarily at one time, but at any given time. There could be 5%, there could be 2%, there could be 30%. It just depends on what's going on that day and what type of support we can offer.
But give us some sense. I want to know what kind of call on your resources this is.
Well, I can actually give you a couple of good examples of things we've done recently.
I'm really not looking for examples. I'm looking for how much your workforce is being diverted to immigration enforcement and away from things that they were doing previously.
Well, specifically immigration enforcement only, that's not what we're focused on. It's just not, sir.
Okay, so how many of the 200 agents have worked on immigration enforcement?
At any given time, anybody could have.
No, just overall. Have all 200 been called away at some point to work on immigration enforcement?
No, sir.
Okay, so how many have?
I really would have a hard time giving you an answer on that, sir.
You're running the office.
I am, yes.
And you're having to make decisions about allocating resources.
Yes, sir.
And you've got investigations to pursue that were ongoing at the time of the administration. And you're having to take agents off of one thing to put them on another. I know how strapped the resources were even before this administration. Yeah. So you may not want to be precise here, but we need some sense of what kind of resources are being diverted here. So what percentage of your agents would you say, what's your best estimate, what percentage have been called to do immigration enforcement? What percentage of the 200 have at some point in the last 150 days been called away to work on an immigration enforcement action?
Sir, the reason I'm having a hard time answering the question is because we work immigration enforcement as it relates to narcotics enforcement. So the two are intimately combined, and that's what our agents are doing.
Okay. For instance, you know what I'm asking you. With all due respect, you know what I'm asking you. So, what percentage of your agents have been called away to work on immigration rates that is a departure from what you were doing before 150 days ago?
Sir, my people do not do strictly immigration rates.
What percentage of your agents have worked on immigration enforcement in the last 150 days? Can you give me an estimate?
Again, it's not just immigration enforcement, sir. So I
Okay.
haven't
Yeah,
really
you clearly don't want to answer the question, Mr. Allen, and this is part of the problem. And that is, we are devoting, by some estimates in the FBI, 45% of our agents in major cities, it's a public report, to immigration enforcement actions that are 90% of which going after nonviolent offenders. You're taking them away from somewhere. You're taking them away from somewhere. And you clearly don't want to tell us how much you're taking them away or how much work they're doing on this and what other enforcement actions, what other interdiction they might be pulled away from. But we need
The
answers.
question kicked off with that classic Schiff dramatic build-up, long pauses, heavy tone, gotcha posture filling the room like he was auditioning for a movie trailer. Problem is, the whole setup was built on shaky assumptions, and the collapse started almost immediately. Adam Schiff's performance here wasn't just a misstep. It was a complete unraveling of credibility in real time. What he thought was a sharp, targeted interrogation turned into a frustrating, circular mess that showed exactly how disconnected he is from operational reality. He came in swinging with numbers that couldn't be verified, insisted on answers to questions that were fundamentally flawed from the jump, and kept ignoring clarifications from seasoned law enforcement pros. Both Mr. Allen and Mr. Perez calmly dismantled his assumptions, laid out plain that immigration enforcement and drug interdiction overlap all the time, and explained that agent reassignments are standard procedure for managing national threats, not some political conspiracy. But Schiff wasn't there for the truth. He was chasing a headline, and in the process, he exposed just how out of touch he really is with the day-to-day grind law enforcement faces. Then came the question, confusing, disconnected, and way too confident for something so poorly thought out. The witness didn't panic, just delivered a calm, surgical response that sliced straight through the nonsense. One simple clarification exposed the question as completely clueless, turning what was supposed to be a trap into a punchline. The funniest part, no jokes were needed. The facts did all the work. The witness stayed composed, answers stayed razor sharp, and Adam Schiff ended up arguing against himself in real time. What was meant to look authoritative ended up looking like a masterclass in how not to prepare for a hearing. This moment hit hard because it exposed the danger of relying on talking points instead of truth. Senate hearings aren't theater, but when someone treats them like a stage, reality has a way of stealing the show. The contrast between confidence and competence couldn't have been clearer. By the end, the damage was done. Adam Schiff didn't dominate the room dominated him. The clip will live on, not as a moment of accountability, but as a reminder that bad questions lead to brutal outcomes. One thing became crystal clear: preparation beats performance every single time. If this breakdown had you nodding hard or laughing out loud, smash that like button, drop a comment with your favorite moment, and subscribe. We're just getting started. More no BS takedowns coming your way.